morning. Today what I want to do is I want to show you what my version of a paint booth, basically to spray, a contained system. It's a temporary system that I created so I can spray a 1995 Jeep Wrangler that I'm working on. I have it outside. Just to show you what I did so far, I'm basically about 90% done. Just to go over what I have here is, this is a garage that is 32 by 24. It's a standalone garage that's basically on the back of my property. So I had basically enough room to create a temporary spray booth contained within. Again, I'm about 90% done. I haven't done the back wall. I wanted to get everything clean, and then what I'm going to do is bring the vehicle in. Now, just how I started this is, now you can see the patterned tile on the floor. It's not tile, it's actually plastic. It's a piece of vinyl that I got from Home Depot for about 30 bucks. They were throwing it away, or as an end cut. I use that just when I'm working on a car so I don't damage this floor I have. I spent a lot of money on this Home Depot floor, and I try to keep it clean. I think it's been about 400 bucks in the spring, and it chips up easy, so I try to keep it nice. And the best way to do that, like I said, was a $40 piece of vinyl. Anyway, to get off the subject, what I did was I started with 1x3 wood, which I purchased from Home Depot. As you can see, it's just a cheap throwaway lumber. It's something that I'm probably going to end up burning for the fireplace or whatever. I laid out a 16 by 10, and I just secured it simply just using scrap pieces with a nailer, as you can see, and it just nailed it together. Once I got my square, and again, I wasn't worrying about it being square or anything like that. I was just trying to create a temporary building that I know is going to be airtight. The next thing I did was I took my plastic, I basically covered that wood, and I extended it about 6 inches past the out wood. So when I put my sidewalls up, I was going to flip the extended plastic over to make even a secure airtight system. Hopefully, we'll see. Once I did that, I used, for walls, I basically used a 2x2 that was at Home Depot for, I think, $1.25 a piece. Again, you can see I didn't do nothing crazy. I just basically put little nailers up to secure it. The building itself is I'm not going to say it's super tight, but I'm surprised it's actually this tight. Now, with any spray booth, obviously dirt and particles in the air are the biggest concern. What I did to address that, my intake, which is going to be on one side of the building, basically you can see here, what I did was I used basic furnace filters, and I doubled them up, so there's actually 2 filters per section there. I did close off one section with plastic because I don't really believe I'm going to need that. I think this 20 by 20 should be sufficient for what I'm going to do. And notice that it's up high. So what I'm trying to do is create a vacuum of air to keep all the dust and everything going in one direction. Now, in the opposite corner of the building, what I did was I created a system that is going to draw the air out into the outside, actually. What I did was I used basic 4 box fans that I picked up for $14 a piece. 2 of them I picked up at Walmart. The other 2, they only had 2 there. I had to go to Lowe's, and basically it's the same thing. I think it was $15 a piece. What I did was I enclosed ductwork with cardboard, and I used a lot of white duct tape. Let me just show you the outside of that so you can see what it really looks like and what it's going to actually do. All right, come back outside. All right, this is the outside of it. Again, all I did was use cardboard, as you can see, and I got the wires coming out there. I used cardboard and created a duct system. I extended it out, and I have one section that I left out that I'm going to use to come out of the window. And I'm going to turn it on for you. You can actually hear the suction that I'm getting out of these both fans. It's actually not bad at all. And I'm going to wait till I put that final outside window, and that's going to determine if I have an airtight building, because it should suck in. You should see everything be sucking in. But you can hear it. It's pretty loud. And I'm actually very happy with the amount of air it's drawing out of this building. That's why I think it's going to work pretty good. I mean, there's other ways to do it. If you had maybe a whole house fan, that'd be the way to do it. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put these over on top of them. These are just going to protect the fans a little bit so I get a little life out of it. Again, I'm only looking to paint one vehicle, maybe two, so it's not something I'm looking to make something permanent. All right, one problem I had, and to tell you the truth, it took a while to think about how I want to do that, and that was the entrance door. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see that. Let me just turn those fans off real quick. All right, the entrance door to the booth, basically it's just a temporary door, nothing much. Again, I found the best thing was with this nailer. It was just so easy, just basically using 1x3 woods. Again, it's not square, it's not even level, but what it did is it did create an airtight system. And how I did that was I went to Home Depot after I created this door, and I didn't even use hinges, to be honest with you. I put about 4 rows of duct tape on the outside to the post, and it basically acts as a swing. I mean, acts as as a hinge. What I did was I went to Home Depot and I got cheap insulation. It's a pipe insulation, and I split that in half, which went really far. It was only a few dollars for that, and I put and circled around it. So what I did was then to secure the door, I'll show you what I have here. It's nothing elaborate. And again, it's something I think you got to take your time and not really rush so you don't break anything off. But I basically just made a system where I just pull on it a little bit. This one's a little tight. I got to loosen it up a little bit. If you pull on it tight a little bit and you just swing it around, and I adjust it how tight I want it through these screws here. And what it does is it really, really creates a very airtight system. At least I think. I'll find out once again I put this final panel on the back window here. Actually, you can see my dopey kids, I asked them to put a patch on my floor because I had a hole in it, and they think it's funny. They put a rebel flag. We live in between Atlantic City, 70 miles away, New York City, 40 miles, Philadelphia, maybe 60, but my kids think they're from the South, and they think they're country boys. Anyway, when I do get frustrated and I have to sit and think about what they do to my garage, what I do, there's always this. That's always good to sit and ponder. Or if you're really, really in trouble and you really need to think something out, pour yourself a nice glass of this. Yeah, Clooney's. Anyway, I'll show you what basically I'm going to paint outside here. What it is, it's again a 1995 Jeep Wrangler. I purchased it for $2,000. The thing ran real good. So what I did was I disassembled it, some of the panels I'm going to be painting. With a Jeep, the inner panels on the fenders kind of go into the by the motor compartment, and you really have to take that off if you're going to be changing the color. There's no way to go around all the wires and stuff. So far what I've done was, again, I removed those 2 panels. I basically took most of the rust off the frame using a sandblaster, which was really, kind of a pain. The color I'm looking at, I'm thinking like a burnt orange. But anyway, this thing runs really, really well. And I think it's going to come out nice after I get done. I'm looking at a burnt orange, maybe a metallic, or maybe a pearl. But anyway, that's what I got so far. I've never built a paint booth, but I think this thing is going to work out pretty good. My only concern right now is I have lights. Obviously, 8-foot lights you can see through the plastic, but I'm not sure this is going to be enough light for me. I may have to put in, go to Home Depot and get those $4 temporary, or not $4 lights, but I think they're about $8 for the 4-footers. Maybe put a couple of them throughout just to give me a little extra lighting. The key with a paint booth is you have to have it a dust-free environment. How I'm also going to do that is once I'm completely done, before I spray anything, I'm simply going to take a pump sprayer with water, and I'm going to mist everything down on the floor. This way anything that drops to the floor is going to stay down there while I'm painting. Anyway, this concludes part 1. Once I get completed the building, what I'll do is I'll shoot a short video to show you how the system works pertaining to this air. Coming in from this way, coming across the building down low, where the particles are going to fall, and go out to the system over here. Again, using 4 box fans. All right, thank you, and like I said, I'll post part 2.